Previously on the Couch Gambit podcast. We should all gasp at something like in the corner that no one can see.
Let's talk about them hoes.
Welcome to another episode of the Couch Gambit podcast. We're kind of just jumping into things. Today we're going to be talking about relationships, marriage, and all the woes and glows that it can provide for you.
The glows?
First of all, I'm going to start off by introducing Mr. Charles Carlisle over here. Go ahead and say hello.
Hoes?
And to his right, it would be Jacob Sizemore.
Hi.
And over here is a Mr. Michael Richie Bono.
Hey.
Michael is suffering from lung cancer as of the past 12 minutes.
Yeah, we just spent about 25 minutes on that
Professional fog machine over here literally just spewed vape right at the camera because we are so poor we can't afford a fog machine. Instead, we're using the lungs of a human being.
I thought we were just doing that for fun.
I don't even
Hey, Michael,
think
you know
the
what'd be
vape got
fun?
into the shot very well.
Hey, Michael, you know what would be fun? Lung cancer.
Then maybe I can join my dad.
Wow. Happy,
This guy-
Happy Father's Day.
This happy Father's Day will not be Father's Day when you guys are watching this episode. But yes, this episode is going to be over relationships. We're going to talk about honestly what we believe to be the best approach to getting yourself into a brand new relationship and just past relationship experiences overall. But we're going to start off with the past relationship experiences. So if any of you guys have a interesting story that you would like to start off with,
I can't tell you a group of people that are more qualified to do this than 3 single guys and Charles.
Charles is a Chad, bro.
Charles is the
Chad
only
Charles.
one of us.
Chad
Actually.
Charles.
Which, I don't know, like, if what girls say, height actually plays a factor into it. He's the tallest one of us.
Now, giving his
Because they all look
ginormous
up to me, man. I don't know.
giving his ginormous body count, we're gonna start off with Charles
Whoa.
and some of his
Hold
glorious
on there,
stories.
partner.
My escapades, yeah.
Some of your
Yeah.
escapades.
Escapades.
Spans 2 states and
He's looking at one of them right now.
yeah.
What's up, gorgeous?
Hey, baby Kish.
Yeah.
I want to die.
Have we started? Is this real?
It's debatable.
We can
we
make it
started.
real.
We
No,
started.
I know. Yeah, no, relationships they're like the best thing ever or the worst thing ever, you know? I was actually talking to a buddy last night, John, you'll be seeing him. But he put it pretty perfectly that most people living on their own have a scale of 0 to 10 on like quality of life and enjoyment and things like that. Whenever you introduce a relationship, that scale goes from 0 to 10 to about -10 to 15 or 20. And yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of responsibility and a lot of heartache involved with it. Yeah, it's kind of a interesting conundrum.
Any interesting heartache stories that you would like to share with the audience?
None.
None.
I
Mr.
don't have a-
Okay, so
Sizemore?
clarify, none worth sharing or just none in
I don't have a
general?
heart. Never
just-
been broken.
Oh, my God.
I've stopped caring a long time ago.
Sizemore. Any interesting heartache stories you'd like to share with the audience?
Heartache stories? I've always had a few of those.
You had a few of them.
I've had a few. Well, I think I've only had like a few heartaches in my entire life where I feel like I've broken my heart. I will say, like, I am one of those hopeless romantic guys where I love the idea, like, especially when I was younger. I feel like I want to believe that I've matured a little bit as of recent, but especially when I was younger, I loved the idea of being in a relationship. I loved the idea of that. Actually being in one. Like, my first relationship was a complete dumpster fire, and my ex-girlfriend can attest to that. She is now one of my closest friends. Ariel, how's it going? It was a complete dumpster fire. It was pretty much my fault. It's pretty much mostly my fault. I won't get into it.
Good on
Guy
you.
was like, I'm not going to mention any names,
But,
okay? And then just straight up
I will
throws
say,
it out
though,
there.
I will
she's
say,
fine with
hold
it.
on,
She's
but
fine
to
with
be
it.
fair, though, most first relationships are
Yeah.
just awful.
Well,
Most.
I was really young. I was in high school. I think it was like it wasn't even high school, no. I can't remember which year it was, to be honest with you. It was like junior. I can't remember. Either way, like I've blocked so many memories out of like the heartaches and the issues with my relationship. Like I only seem to remember certain stuff, and when I actually talk to her, she brings up stuff like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
Oh,
But no, I think that a lot of my younger relationships were definitely my fault when it came to that, because I'm a young kid and I'm just like I'm not thinking like the future doesn't matter to me. The now and the present, like I love this feeling. You make me feel so good, and then later on, like logic hits you and like, what the heck was that? What was I even doing?
I remember that I got into my
Yeah.
first relationship back in 10th grade. And I was so happy about it because I was trying to get into a relationship since like 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I just never had luck. I was really dorky I'm still really dorky, but I was really dorky as a kid, and I had a lot of trouble with girls. And I ended up landing this one girl who's actually very beautiful, and I still know her today. We're still good friends. But let me tell you, during the relationship, it was a struggle. First of all, like I'm not sure that we ever actually kissed during a relationship.
I mean,
at
who
all.
would kiss you?
Oh no, I know. I don't blame her, but no, there was just this like whole thing. We didn't really relate a lot. I had this. First of all, I'm vegan, and she enjoyed hunting, so that's already a contradiction right there.
Wow.
We can't work with that.
She's still available.
She's still available. No, and then I went through like
She's married.
6 months of like this really kind of like puppy love kind of thing, which given my age at the time, I went through like
Adjusting.
That actually helps. Thanks.
I went through like 6 months of like puppy love, which given my age is probably understandable, but I was also like, I would like to get a little bit closer because I'm only ever really seeing her when I go to school. Like the most we do is like she'll give me a hug and a kiss on the cheek. And I remember one time I tried to make a move. She liked to play softball, and I was hanging out with her for practice at one point, and I tried to make my move there. I was going for it. I was leaning in for a kiss because we just kind of stopped, look at each other. Sun was setting. It was a perfect moment. I was going in, and she grabs my head, tilts it down, and gives me a kiss on the forehead.
Oh my gosh. The cringe. Ooh, that hurt.
Absolutely devastating.
That's incredible.
That's you're such a
Absolute-
great friend moment.
I'd love to meet her so I could laugh at you.
And then she
God.
broke up with me like 3 weeks later.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Related or just
No,
no?
there's just sit
yeah,
me a
was she
text one
related
day.
to you?
Wow.
That's why she went for the forehead kiss.
Yeah.
Michael, what about you?
Oh, well,
Michael, I want to know.
well,
My heartache.
Look, I'm gonna say this. All right, there are many endeavors where I have failed, but none so spectacular and as depressing as with my relationships. They have all just ended horribly. Well, except for one. When one ended, I just like shrugged, like, oh well, thank God, I'm done with that. I won't say her name, but someone in this room knows her. So
I will. I'll defend my bro here for a minute here.
thank you.
He was the only one in our group to come to prom alone. We all came alone, but
Oh,
Cameron came alone,
oh no.
and he left with someone else. So I got to give him
Wow.
props on that one. The only one to do that.
Back when I was an Adonis. Adonis. Barely, but
It was when he peaked in high school.
yeah, I know. Honestly, yeah. To this day, like when it at least comes to appearance, I peaked in high school. It's only been like me going downhill at this point. Though I am trying to work on it, gym and all that stuff, But I guess story-wise, I guess I could regale you with my first love. I don't even know if I can call it first love, though. Mikey also knows this one. No, they weren't in a relationship, but we went to high school together.
That's surprising.
Yeah, her. Wow, Mikey wouldn't do me like that.
I'm just saying, Michael knows
Yeah, I
a
do
few
you
of
a
the
lot of
ladies.
ways, but not like that.
Hell yeah. Oh man, that's hot.
So
But no, so her name was I won't. What is wrong with you guys? I don't know. I'm about to like.
Sorry.
I'm about to
I was checking
relive the most
and then it turned
traumatizing
into,
parts of my
like,
life.
Potential lawsuit
okay?
over here, just like me grabbing.
Look,
He's about to open his heart to you guys,
yeah,
and you're
look,
just
guys,
fooling
guys,
around.
talking about my dead dad and dead best friend, that's one thing. But this hurts close, okay?
Wow, okay.
This my first love, okay? Her name was Samantha, and God,
It's going all out.
I thought the world of
I'm
her.
not name dropping.
Two,
Okay.
1, 2, 3, Tanglewood Drive, and her social security number.
But no, but I won't say her last name for fuck's sakes. God, fuck off, guys. But no, yeah, she was the first person that I deeply cared about, at least in the standards of high school, And Mike can attest to this as well. I was like fucking over the moon when I started going out with her. Like I had liked her since I think sophomore year, and then when she tried to hook me up with one of her friends, it ended up just me hooking up with her in our senior year of high school.
I didn't know y'all actually hooked up.
Wow, really?
Wait, did you really?
Yeah.
Dun dun
In
dun.
high school.
Yeah, in high school. Yeah, we had hooked up in high school.
What?
Yeah.
New lore? Okay.
Oh yeah, expanding on the lore.
The
Yeah,
Richie
no, so-
Bono lore.
Yeah. No, so we went out in high school. Yeah.
This changes everything.
This changes everything.
does.
Oh my god.
Okay,
How?
We're going to have to talk after this.
We are?
Yes, we will.
I thought we
Yeah.
were on the same page.
No,
Kyle
no,
knew.
not like
Jake
that.
knew.
I definitely didn't know that.
It's a very interesting discovery.
Well,
right
I
now.
swear I thought I told you. I thought you knew.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
no,
Okay.
but yeah, we went out and it was nice for the first like week or two. Right? But I'll be the first to admit while I'm sure many women thought I was this suave, very charismatic man, the moment I actually got to be in a relationship with someone, I became just a weak individual, right? I was just constantly like, again, this is like high school me, where like I'm kind of like you, where relationships just, I thought, awesome sauce, spectacular, right?
Thanks for
Fuck
that.
you, Mikey.
Thanks a lot.
Why are you laughing? Oh, this episode was a terrible idea.
I was a weak individual, kind of like you.
This will be my last episode.
Oh my God! Jesus Christ.
Michael, I'm going to talk to you afterwards too. Michael, come to my office.
What position? But no, but oh my god!
Oh my god. Oh.
This episode is just us laughing. But roll the credits.
Roll the credits. It hasn't even been a full 20 minutes yet.
I'm dying.
My heart disease at age 25.
Are we okay?
Skip through all this.
No, we're keeping this in. Oh my god.
Anyways, yes. Much like Jacob, I was a total simp.
The problem is he's not wrong.
Simp for Jesus.
The only one I simp for is for God.
Okay,
I only simp for the Lord.
but
All right.
look, but
All right. Cheers.
so, but when she just yeah, cheers. Fuck yeah,
Oh my God.
cheers, boys.
cheers, mates.
Oh. Continue your tale.
Oh man. Okay.
So, when she ended up just wanting to leave me for another man, you know,
You start back
it
up with that.
fucking broke me.
This is fucking scuffed. Oh my God.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
I was so depressed.
Okay.
But thinking back on it, I really do understand where, probably why she no longer wanted to be in a relationship, though, because, yeah, I was too clingy, for sure. And because, again, I was high on the idea of love. But she went about it just the wrong way, though. Like, she could have just said, "Hey, I think we should break up." Instead, she was like seeing another guy, kind of ignoring me, and while also like kind of just only interacting with him when we're in the same room together. So I was like, "That's total bitch move." And again, I'm sure she's matured drastically, right? She's probably still a beautiful young lady. I really don't care, you know. Fuck you. I'm joking. Wait, no.
Take me back.
Come back. Take me back. But look, man. Once I get shredded, I'm available.
My abs are all yours, babe.
But
This can be all yours.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, my first love ended just awful though. I was so depressed for a while. I stopped dressing nice and everything. I was dressed like a homeless man. It was awful.
I never took it.
And then I saw so many other chicks after that.
See, I can relate to the idea of being high on love, because that was definitely a problem for me, just feeling like
Yeah.
I was shot
my gosh, yeah.
by Cupid. Because like you, Jacob, I am a very hopeless romantic, and when I'm in a relationship, I'm like, my love, my love, you're my one and only, and then they break my heart.
You think about the things that you did when you were in a relationship, when
Oh, it's
you were a
cringe.
simp, and you just look back at that. There's a reason why so many people just repress that crap, and then they remind you later on, like, remember when this happened? Like, oh my,
I will never claim that I had no responsibility in the relationship falling apart. I did play at least 25% into it. The other 75%'s on them. But
Oh yes, of course.
oh, of course, yeah, absolutely. No, I remember. So I had that first girlfriend that never. I don't even really consider that a relationship. I had my second girlfriend I got with probably about a year later when I was in 11th grade. And that relationship was actually pretty well for like the first like 6 months we were in it. And then I recall that she just randomly sent me a message of her hanging out with another dude. She was like, yeah, he's more fun than you. And then broke up with me 2 hours later.
wow. This is some sad stories so far.
And then the third one, there was one. We're gonna skip
God.
the third one. We're gonna skip over the third one.
It's
We're gonna,
depressing.
oh yeah. We're gonna go ahead and do
Therapy
everyone a
session.
favor. Skip over the third one. I don't even want to talk about that one. Then there's the fourth one, which I found I actually had to initiate leaving that relationship because I found out that I was the other guy in the situation. And I did not want
Ooh.
to play a part in that. Yeah, no. Apparently she's been. Yeah, apparently she was dating someone for like 8 months, and I've been dating her for like 3 months, and I find out that she's with someone else, and I'm like, no. And I was gonna take her to prom too, and once I found out, I was like, no.
I feel like we're just giving everyone
No.
a
Oh.
reason to not trust us in relationships.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just a bunch of negative stories.
No, look.
It's only 25% my
right now.
fault.
We're talking about the lows. I only have lows, but
Okay, so
Charles, quickly, say something positive. For the love.
Charles, tell us about that hot babe you met in Colorado.
no, it's what I always found interesting because we all like go through the learning process of being in a relationship and communication and all that kind of stuff, and you send the long paragraphs of text, and then you have it done to you, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that I understand. Like I get why it's not really like a thing to do in a relationship, sending long texts and stuff like that. First time I got one, it's like, I'm not reading this. It's like, why would I read this?
See, I feel like there's an obligation for the guy to read that long text and if you think about having text conversations is absolutely stupid. And then the girl like texting you and like that's the stereotype of the teenage girl in her room like feet up texting the boyfriend like this is how my day went when really like just either call me, visit me. I don't want to.
She's upset with you, and then 3
she's
hours
upset.
later sends you like the emoji of the sad face saying, "I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
well,
Yeah.
the girl that fucking I was just not at all for. I hated texting her. Oh my god, the grammar. Oh my, I know. Look, I know.
You
Text
grammar
messaging-
Nazi?
No, it was
No.
It was bad.
I'm really
okay.
not. But when I have to decipher as if it's fucking hieroglyphics from ancient Egypt, then I have a fucking problem.
Okay.
Okay? I hated texting her. I hate texting in general, right? but I cannot stand texting now because of her. It was awful. And then when she wanted to split, I just reply with, "Cool."
Y'all split over texts.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was like, "Cool."
Honestly, like I know it sounds terrible. It is genuinely a crappy thing to do to break up someone with over text. But if y'all are done with it, it's sufficient.
Oh, also, here's the thing. That relationship also didn't start in a healthy way either. I was mostly like using her to make my first ex jealous.
Oh,
And it actually did work too.
solid.
You are a piece of shit.
You are truly a
You were
degenerate.
awful.
I was, still am. But
We were all
less
degenerates,
so.
though.
Yeah.
Like my first relationship, 1,000%,
Okay.
I was a piece of human
Okay,
garbage.
don't go on about being a degenerate, all right? Okay, you're
What, you're
you're-
worse?
You're a good Christian boy, all right? So he's actually
Well,
kind of a good
degenerate, and piece of crap. I was a piece of crap for sure.
piece of crap, sure. I
Yeah.
mean, Charles is a degenerate, but
I won't deny it.
Charles is going
You're our
left and right.
degenerate, though.
Guilty.
Don't worry, Mikey. You're our degenerate.
Charles has made many entrances. All right, that's all I gotta say.
Many entrances.
I've made a few. I've made
Wow.
a few, but I have nothing
way of
compared to
putting it.
Charles.
What do y'all look for in a relationship, or what would y'all look for in a relationship now?
Good
Because
ass.
Walking and walking is optional, but
Wait.
If
Wait.
she's breathing,
He's breathing.
she's breathing.
breathing. Yeah, there. We go.
She's really hot but has no legs.
What?
Do you want me to answer
Oh,
that?
God, no! Well, she can't run
I'm
away.
confused. I don't know where this is going, but I
I
don't want to know where this is going.
I'm not. Look, I'm not an ableist. All right, I don't discriminate.
Good on you.
We don't discriminate here at the Couch
Because
Gambit
he
podcast.
loves her, okay? All right?
Sure.
Sure. We'll go with that. No, well, mainly what I'm looking for in a relationship now, especially given, my previous relationship, which I'll dive into in just a second.
Please don't.
Oh, yeah, no. This is the most interesting out of all the stories. So I do want to dive into it. But what I look for mainly is just someone that, for lack of a better term, someone that's marriage material. Someone, because
So for you, if they also eat grass.
yes, absolutely. I would love it. No, but seriously, it comes down to like someone that shares your values, someone that you can consider to be a best friend, someone that you would want to be the mother of your child. Like nowadays, I want to get back into the dating world, but I don't want to go out and just date, get in a relationship, and then hey, maybe if they're good, I'll marry them. Right now, I want to jump into it. I want to date with the intention of actually getting married and having a future with a person. I want to jump in with that mindset instead of just trying to have to go through this whole thing. And maybe it will work, maybe it won't. I'm not sure, but that's where I'm at right now.
That was my problem in my last relationship. I went in with the understanding is like, hey, we're going to change and improve together and stuff like that. And if you're really going into a relationship looking at the other person like, yeah, I can probably change it. And you're just so enveloped and enwrapped in this like love trance that you find yourself in. And you just like, there's some flaw. Like probably change that. Like that's a horrible way to start a relationship. Is like start because and I believe inherently you have to agree on the fundamentals. Like if you're
sure,
if you're
yes.
dating to marry somebody and you're looking for this person as a future spouse, then that person has to agree with you on the fundamentals.
Well, yeah,
you don't have to
so-
agree on every
no,
single thing,
'cause
but the fundamentals.
I agree.
You're gonna raise kids together.
A lot of people will of course counter with, well, you know the saying, opposites attract. When it comes to minor things, like I think, if one likes to rock climb and you're like, well, I would prefer to read a fucking book, right? That's not a major thing, but like she can, like take you like to try rock climbing or something more, physical that's not in the bedroom per se, but what I mean. Anyways, but
Who wants to do that?
But I feel like
rock climbing.
but I feel like the opposites attract.
Hey, baby, you wanna go rock
statement
climbing?
is really for to try new experiences, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you can't agree on big major things like politically, philosophy, and again, you don't have to agree on everything. We're obviously not saying that, but if you want kids in the future, but the person you're courting is like, well, I have no intention of having children.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, you could try to spend a year, 2 years to try to convince her. Well,
Yeah.
let's have children.
It's delaying the inevitable. That conversation is going to come up at some point in time, and it's already going to be an argument because you already don't agree. Like if I'm gonna dating an atheist and already they don't believe in God, like later on if we end up getting married and have kids, and I want to talk to those kids about God, take them to church and everything, and my wife is like fundamentally disagreeing with that, there's going to be a huge like, why does mommy not want to go to church? And like that's going to be a whole huge separation within the family. And again, that's with the understanding that you are dating this person with the intention of marriage.
It's ultimately the issue of just that when you get into a relationship with someone that you do not have those shared values with, so when you jump into a relationship, you're kind of just jumping into it for your own purposes. You want that feeling of, hey, someone to give me a hug, someone to care about me, at least temporarily, and ultimately, even if you know it's going to crash and burn, a lot of people tend to still go against that reasoning in their head, even if they see it, even if they see the signs, and they're like, "Hey, I know that we probably don't mix. Yeah, we probably don't mix in this way, but man, I really want to be in a relationship. I really want to have that feeling."
Actually, here's another, and this is actually very destructive as well. When, for a lot of people, when they're so hung up about wanting to be in a relationship, it's as if they don't feel completed without someone else. It should never be something along the lines of this person completes me. You are two different people. Nice.
That's gonna show up in the audio.
But like,
sorry.
Many people view relationships as if it's 50%, when it's two individuals who are giving it their all to make this work. Like, you don't complete me, right? But you do make my life better. At least they should. You know.
Yeah, ultimately, if you don't have a good foundation, it's eventually going to fall apart. That was the thing with my ex at the time, is that was my longest lasting relationship, surprisingly. But the foundation was all wrong. When it came down to values, when it came down to our fundamental beliefs, it just wasn't there. Now, granted, she's probably like one of the funniest girls I've ever dated. I genuinely laughed at all her jokes. I enjoyed spending time with her as a friend. She was a lesbian at the time. Wow. I changed her. I'm pretty proud of that myself. But no, I got into this relationship with her, and things were fun for like the first 6 months. But I noticed the tiny little arguments we got into over fundamental disagreements, like. She liked to smoke pot. I'm not a pot smoker. I was really anti-drug at the period where I was dating her. So I was like, no, I really don't appreciate that. And she's like, well, it's not that big of a deal. And that's the first kind of cracks. And then she's like into alternative music. I'm like, no, I realize that her values are about self-expression, where my values surround it more about self-discipline. And ultimately, it's just one little thing after another. Even the minor things that don't seem important, when it builds on top of each other, eventually it becomes a big deal. And it came up to this like whole like climax and eventually just broke apart, because first of all, there's a whole bunch of situations that are going on around her. The values don't match. We eventually move in together, and she breaks up with me. Like,
big mistake there.
She breaks up with me 2 days afterwards.
I will say,
which granted, I saw it coming. And I decided to go forward with it anyway, because I had this kind of hope that I could make it work. And this is where I'll take the blame on my part. I thought that I could change her. That I can make... That is true. Like, I thought that I can change her, that I can make her kind of fall in line with someone I want to be with. She didn't appreciate that. No one would. Now, granted, some of the changes I was trying to propose on her may have been better for her, but regardless of it, you can't change people. And attempting to do is only going to hurt you in the end. And it's only going to make you seem like a bad person at the end.
Which is why it takes wisdom to actually go for the right person and understanding. Like, even if I feel like very strong feelings for this person, you have to be very cognizant and aware of that person, who they are, what they believe in, and if they don't align up with your specific values, I'm not saying you need to agree on every single aspect of life, but again, like I said, the fundamentals, if those don't line up, it's going to cause cracks and it's going to cause arguments. It's just going to be prolonged at the very beginning because you have this unbelievable feeling of like, it's like, oh, I just want to be in a relationship with you. I want to be around you. And eventually that's going to wear off. That honeymoon phase is eventually going to wear off. And you need to be able to work together as partners. That's why the best relationships are people that are either they work well as friends or work well as just people who work well off each other. That like, I don't like you right now because you're eventually going to not like the person that you're with. But I understand that my petty grievances are not the most important thing right now. We are still partners. We still work together. That's the main thing that has worked in the best relationships that I've seen. One of the best relationships that I've seen is my two grandparents. Who I lovingly call Nana and Pa. Love y'all very much. But the funniest argument that and they've worked really well as a couple throughout the years. I've seen them, and again I don't know, and I haven't seen them when they're in their early days. I've seen them when they're old. But I saw a very glimpse of an argument when a few years ago, and. All the argument was my grandma saying something, and my grandpa said, yada yada, I'm not going to say her name, that's stupid. And then she paused, like, okay. And then he just said, I'm going to go to work, kissed her on the head, and just walked out. And that was it. That was the end of the argument. And it was like, wow, okay, that was efficient. That was efficient.
I got it out of the way.
That was really quick.
So yes, women who are watching this, just listen to your man.
We really know better.
Yeah, we know better.
No, but those two, like, they're in a lot of ways, they're very opposite personality. Like my grandma, she is very aggressively happy, always giving hugs, always like wants to talk.
Oh, yeah,
and my grandpa is very efficient. Like, yep, cool.
Yeah,
All right,
I ran
peace.
into your grandmother at a tailor,
Yeah.
and she was like, Landon, which is not my name, but like I went along with it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's me. I gave
Yeah.
her a hug. It was, she's a very lovely person.
Yeah.
So.
But again, the relationships that I've seen work very well are people that can work together even when they're angry at each other. And they understand that and again, you're never going to completely agree on everything, and that's a given. But people who still work together in those times of distress and frustration are the couples that are going to prevail.
Yeah, if you're going for blood when you're arguing with each other, that's probably one of your first signs that you shouldn't be with that individual.
Yeah. And that's why you had those vows at the very beginning of the wedding, is like in sickness and health and like yada 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 yada, and it goes down the line. And like you have to include the bad times, because you're never going to love the person 100% fully. You're never going to always love this person, but you have to understand that you have made a commitment to this person for life. Like what is it? Jordan Peterson said, you're handcuffing yourself to this person for life, and you're saying like, you are flawed, I am flawed. I understand that, but we're not going anywhere. We have to fix these flaws that we have, and we're going to make this work because we have to. And that's not something that a lot of people take seriously anymore. Nobody takes seriously the vows of marriage anymore. Everybody sees this as like, especially in Hollywood. No one takes that crap seriously anymore. They just like, oh, like if I don't feel it, I'm just gonna leave.
There's a serious lack of humility that a lot of people have nowadays when they're jumping into a relationship. That includes me. Then probably most people in here could probably say that includes themselves as well. But that includes just a lot of people in general. They're so obsessed with this idea of just accept me for me, no matter what, and they're not open to listening to you when it comes to fundamental things. And I think that's a big problem that a lot of people run into nowadays.
Mikey, you have something?
Oh no, I mean,
I thought you were trying to say something.
No, I'm just.
Sorry. I can't but look at you is all.
Oh well, me too. But no, I myself.
Oh.
Okay.
What is this weird sexual tension?
I don't know. In my experience, I mean, we all have. We've all had a lot of missteps and learning experiences from relationships and all that. And it's interesting how that kind of stuff evolves. The early ones really hurt the worst. And then it's not so much that you get used to it. It's that you start getting better at it, I think.
Your judgment.
Your judgment. Yeah, you start understanding what you're looking for, what works versus what doesn't. You have the experience of going through enough heartbreak to know that you'll come out of of it on the other side just fine. And the most interesting thing for me is that whenever you're actively looking for a relationship, you're going to find the most toxic ones, or you're just not going to find anything at all. It's as soon as you truly stop looking, not like I'm going to take a break and, just
Find myself.
like you give up. Like the giving up isn't the same thing as truly not looking for it.
Well, yeah, no, because the reason why so many people fail in relationships, right, the ones who actively search, is because they themselves do not feel as if they are content, right? So if you're not happy with yourself, I mean, how can you expect someone else like, if you can't love yourself, how can you expect someone to love you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not looking for someone to fill in the blank.
Yeah. So, and I think that's a problem I had for a while, because I quite frankly, there was a point in time when I thought, well, fuck. I mean, I'm kind of a loser, stuff like that, and maybe if I find someone who can care about me, then maybe life will work out. And that was just very destructive, right? I was not making good relationship kind of like decisions. So, fuck. Sorry, I'm sad now.
You're good.
No,
You're good.
But no,
ultimately-
but yeah. So once you can be happy with yourself, then you can, find someone who will love you for you. But you're not going to find a healthy relationship until you are. What is wrong with you?
He's trying to take me.
If I was trying, I'd have you.
Oh my
crap.
god. But yeah, no. If you're seeking out relationships because and most people who do constantly search for someone to be with, I think deep down they do not love themselves, or they feel that they are incomplete. But you as a person, you have to feel whole. You have to be happy with who you are.
I think an
Yeah.
important question you can ask yourself is, if you're looking to get into a relationship, you first need to ask yourself if you're someone that deserves to be in a relationship with someone else, whether you're good enough to actually be in a relationship with someone else. And if you don't feel that way, if you can't answer yes to that, then you probably need to focus on that.
And I think it's very good to clarify here. I don't think we're all talking about self-love. Self-love is a very different thing than self-improvement. Self-love is accepting you for who you are, and self-improvement is realizing your flaws and getting better at those flaws. And as human beings, as people who sin, we all have freaking flaws. And to say that you are perfect the way you are is always going to be a lie. You are not perfect the way you are. You will always have flaws.
Well, yeah.
And it kind of goes back to that, like, looking to find someone that fulfills you and fills in that gap that you're missing in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're ever in a breakup situation, or you find yourself like, you know what, I just need to find a self-love. It's like, no, it's like you're in those kinds of breakup situations, you're always like, why did that relationship not work? Okay, what are the flaws? What can I do better? What are the things that I messed up in? Because looking back on my relationships, I messed up a ton. I am not perfect in any way, shape, or
Absolutely.
form. And a lot of the times, not all the times, some of those were not my fault, but a lot of the times, like, it was my fault. And I
Right.
have been humbled and humiliated many times to understand, like, it's not about self-love or respect or, like, loving yourself. It's about, like, understanding where you need to improve and what you can do better.
I definitely see where you're coming. No, so I think we're just talking about different types of people, though. There are certain, yes, there are people where, like,
Right,
it is
yeah.
about self-improvement, but there are people who, when they look at themselves, they are just, when they, like, they're like, I wouldn't, I do not, how do I put this? So, like, I think they're very similar people, but there are people who just, they look at themselves, and it's not just about, they don't see it as, things to improve. They just belittle themselves, right? When they look at themselves in the
Right.
mirror. There are people like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think they're very similar people for sure. But I think they are two different types of people who, are kind of failing in their search for love and stuff like that.
For sure.
But but to answer your question, like right now, like I'm incapable of being in a good relationship right now because I think there's so many things I
100%.
need to improve on.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
And I'm kind of right there with you, because honestly, I can't see myself getting into a relationship at the moment at all.
Yeah, there's just too much. And again, like this is I'm the type of person where like it's not that I hate myself or anything like that. There is just a lot of things I have to improve on. I need to improve on my own image, right? I need to make better, kind of more sound financial decisions too, because there are still times when I make the dumb financial choice because like I really like this thing when perhaps I shouldn't be spending money on dumb shit, right? So. Like, I would not be able to provide a stable household, for a future wife or kids, right? So there's plenty of things for me to work on, for sure.
I do have a question, though. Would you go out on dates? Like, right now, if you had something set up with, like, if you were on a dating app or you ran into somebody and got their number, would you go out with them?
Well, considering that women don't really look at me.
I'm just saying. I guess, okay, so my point, and we'll
But
get away from
if it happened, if for some reason...
You got a nice face, Michael. Come on.
we can move away from the personal, like the direct
No, I got
personal,
you. Would I right now? That's the thing. Like, I want to say no, but I know in the moment I'd be like... I would make... I don't know if I want to say I'd make the mistake, but I think I would be gung-ho to try, but I think deep down I should say no.
I think I have an answer to this question. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, and well, maybe that's the wrong word. It's case by case basis, more than not. Because while I personally would say that I'm not fit to be in a relationship with somebody, if I found somebody that I was genuinely interested in, that could act as a motivating factor for me to try to better myself so that I can further pursue that. So it really just depends.
So the reason I say that, or the reason I ask that, is because there's this is something that people really need to think through whenever they're talking about self-improvement and saying I'm not in a place for a relationship right now. If you are still putting yourself in these situations where you're trying to get into a relationship, then you're not actively pursuing the goal of trading that aspect of your life for self-improvement. So like if you're saying I'm working on myself, and then the first chance you get to get into a relationship, you jump on it, you're not fully committed to that goal. And there is a way that there are different ways of going about it in my experience, because I've been through it. I go through it a lot. There's just cycles of your life where there's ups and downs, and you're like, I'm really not in a good place for a relationship right now, and you kind of take yourself off the market. You work on yourself sometimes, and generally that's when I find somebody that ends up being really good for me, and I get into a great relationship, and things go.
No, for sure. And hence why I was saying, like, deep down I know
Right.
it's no, but knowing me in the moment, I might make, as I said, the mistake of saying yes.
For anybody in that situation, saying I completely agree, because I'm generally the same way. But when you're in that situation and you say no for the first time, you don't have to say, fuck you, I don't want to be like. You don't have to totally like.
We're definitely
push
not
them
saying
away.
that.
You don't have to say. You don't have to push them away.
Fuck you, bitch.
But what you can do is set boundaries up front. Go into the situation with full intent of something, whether it be friends or acquaintances, or maybe just seeing what this person is like in general.
And there is the added problem of waiting too long and working on yourself for too long and never putting yourself back out
Well,
there.
there's also the factor of, like, would I just jump into dating any random girl that approached me? No. Like, if I didn't know them, but let's say I did run into a position where I grown fond of this girl. There's a lot we have in common. Values are where they need to be, and I would really want to date this girl. Well, there's two things I could consider. Have I improved on myself enough? And if the answer is no, then ultimately that leaves me with two other decisions. Or am I willing to jump in this regardless of the fact that I do not feel like I'm in the place I need to be, or should I put this on hold? Now, there's two factors there as well. If you put it on hold, you can genuinely focus on yourself and make that the main priority and build yourself up. The other factor is that if someone that you really love comes into your life, someone that you really care about comes into your life, and you want to make the relationship work, again, that can be a motivating factor for you to ultimately better yourself. So it would ultimately just come down to your judgment, to using prudence at the end of it.
Yeah, like getting into a relationship right after you broke up with someone is probably not a good idea. But like
rebound.
Yeah, rebound. But again, waiting too long is a problem. And again, there is a certain amount to say about getting into a relationship with someone and improving in there as well, and them helping to improve. I'm not going back on what I said earlier about finding someone that fills the hole in your life. But I am saying like there is a certain amount of self improvement that you can do with somebody else. And so turning yourself off forever and completely focusing on yourself is not the right decision to go. But again, a certain amount of like self-improvement obviously is appropriate and healthy.
Mikey, you had something.
Sorry.
No. I'm just saying go into it with intent. If your goal is to improve, commit to that, and don't let yourself get distracted. I'm not saying turn away every opportunity that you get, but have a different intent. Again, if your goal is to stay away from relationships and to focus on yourself, and then first chance you get to get into a relationship, you jump into it, and then it goes really badly, you're going to feel awful, way worse, because now because first of all, you've given up on your goals, and once the relationship is over, all you have left are the failed goals. Second of all, you get into this mindset of, oh, hey, my goals are working because now I have this great girlfriend. And then it goes away, and you're like, oh my God, like there's nothing I can do anymore.
Well, that's
you
where
have to commit.
That's where it'd be important to make sure that someone, if you were going to get with someone in that situation, that it would be someone that would be upfront and honest with you about your shortcomings, and hopefully that would also be a motivating factor for you to improve upon yourself.
On that topic, it's kind of awesome to be single sometimes, though.
It is convenient. Like I will say
depressing.
that. Honestly, like as much as I would love to be in a relationship, I do enjoy being single and not having to really worry about
I
anyone
hate
else.
being alone.
Being someone who enjoys...
You have us.
Ew.
It is very beneficial to be good at being single. Have to completely agree with you.
The last relationship I was in, I had moved out right after I broke up with her, and when I finally got into my new place and actually like got used to being silent and alone for a while, I was like, this is kind of the best. And again, like I'm going back to what I said earlier, it's probably not healthy to be too comfortable with being single and being alone all the time, because again, God still tells you to go out there and meet some people. Don't be alone. Don't do all this stuff. But at the same time, like being comfortable with being alone is a very healthy thing for somebody, and not needing the approval of other people.
And once
again,
you-
like I love being alone and just talking to my cat, which saying that makes me sound insane.
Oh, trust me. Once you get to the peak of enjoyment, someone's gonna walk into your life.
Yeah, that was my cat. She ruined it all.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
I hate this topic.
This is a terrible topic.
This is a lovely topic.
Fuck you. Can we go back about talking about dead dads?
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, man.
Happy
Day.
Father's
Say
Day.
that.
Oh yeah, Happy Father's Day. Oh my gosh, this is depressing.
This was not. That's not a topic you would want to say. It's like today we talk about dead dads. My dad's alive. Your dad's alive.
That's it.
Ooh,
Man.
yikes.
So, yeah, no, I mean, it's,
Yeah, no.
yeah, no, I mean, it's just
Let's-
kind of a little,
Let's address that mistake.
man.
Continue, pubescent.
He lost his point.
I never had a point.
never had a
I
point.
promise.
That sounds like this entire podcast.
So,
we never had a point.
We
I'm
never had a
curious. I'm
point.
curious, guys. Okay, so let's say you are courting someone. How
Simp.
long? What's up?
Simp.
Okay, you're courting someone. How long do you wait before marriage? I'm just curious.
I thought you said recording someone. I thought this was going to go a completely
Courting.
darker route. Okay,
Dating.
thank you. Jeez.
Let's say you're recording someone.
I
was
mean,
like, ooh.
we could talk about that
Oh.
if you'd like.
Only
I
in
would
marriage.
I would prefer
Only
not
in
to.
marriage.
I mean, because like when I recorded my last what? But no,
gotta
so
go.
how long is too long, or how Yeah, I'm just curious, or how, or is
well,
it too soon? Like when is it too soon? When is it too long?
That comes down to it. I think that ultimately, if you date with the intention of marrying, then you'll find yourself getting married a lot sooner once you get into the relationship, because you would have gone in with that mindset and you would have looked for the characteristics that you would want in someone else to begin with.
My dad waited 3 years to marry my mom, and he proposed way sooner than that. But the reason, and I respect the reason, he wanted to be financially stable to support her and a family, and so that made sense. I would say past that might be a little iffy. Like waiting that long to either propose or to be married to someone is, yikes. That's kind of iffy. I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly say 3 years is probably the max on that one.
Yeah.
Like, because again, like the way a lot of people do it, where they just jump into a relationship because they want to be with it, and then they try to gauge whether or not this would be the perfect woman to marry. It ends up prolonging the process.
Yeah.
Or if they do get married soon, and I've witnessed this with my roommates, if they do get married soon, we'll get into that story.
Oh, brother.
They ultimately will find out during their marriage that there's a lot of things that they don't really click on, and there's a lot of things that just don't work.
Yeah.
Well, because one of my good friends, his name is Zach, with his current wife. I don't remember how long they've been married now for, but and I don't remember how long they were dating before marriage. But I do know that wasn't even really a year, I believe, and they're happily married now with kid number 5 coming. So that's awesome.
Dang.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I was so happy when for him when he told me this. But apparently, number 5 is finally a little girl.
Aw.
Yeah. So four sons, and he's gonna have a daughter now. So congrats, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, daddy's little girl. He's gonna
Spectacular.
boys coming to the front, threatening
Boy,
with
howdy.
shotguns.
Yeah.
That's every dad's dream.
Boy, howdy.
5?
The boys coming, time to load the shotguns.
5 kids?
5.
Boy's got an army.
Yeah.
Boy's got an army, bro. I want an army. I went from a position of wanting 0 kids at one point to now wanting 6.
Fuck.
That's a huge jump.
I want an army.
For me,
Army of little Liams just running around.
that sounds
Bunch of
awful.
vegans, bunch of
I was
Yeah.
about to say, are you gonna force him to be vegan?
He did.
I'd raise them with my morality, just
Yep,
like any
Liam
parent
told
would.
me that it is a requirement that they must be vegan.
Hey, Liam, what if they come out to you one day and just say, Dad, I love steak?
Well, they ultimately have their own choices, but
You're no son of
course, like
mine.
any parent would raise their kids with their moral,
son of mine
with
loves
their
steak.
moral beliefs.
But
any
for
parent would
me-
raise their kids with their own moral beliefs.
I think
That's
for me,
fair.
the number is like 3, maybe 4.
20.
Oh my god.
Again, a huge jump.
Like, I mean, I know. Actually, my new finance director over at the new dealership I work at. Apparently, he has like he said it was like 9 siblings, or that he was like, and he's like the baby or whatever in the family.
Poor woman.
Jeez.
That poor woman.
But yeah, I was like, damn.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's insane to me. I can't imagine. I don't know if I could do more than 4. That'd be
Yeah.
that.
It's a lot, man. I mean,
How many kids would you have, Mikey?
Come on,
oh,
Charles.
Probably 3.
3?
3. I think
is
we're
a
about
good
the
amount.
same.
Want some
then.
At
little
least
Char-
a boy. At
Want-
least a
want-
boy.
I need at least one boy.
I'm gonna go like Henry
Young
VIII
Carlisles?
on it until I get a boy.
12 children later.
He just
I
keeps
laugh,
getting
but I have
girls.
no idea what that means.
King. Oh boy.
Jacob.
All right, little history lesson.
How many
King-
kids you looking at? Investing 3. So I want the
Investing
most out
in
of any
3.
of us.
Anyways, Mikey.
King Henry VIII, he needed an heir to his throne, and so he would go through each woman, have kids with her, and they'd all come out daughters. So he'd kill them
Yep.
because he couldn't
Whoa.
divorce. He couldn't divorce under the Catholic Church, so he'd kill them. Go on to the next woman, another girl, kill him.
Guess who
go
the
on to the next
problem
one,
was?
kill him. Over and over. Yeah, exactly. Then we find out it's
Yep.
up to the guy.
Jeez.
Pretty sure killing them goes against the Catholic Church as well, but
I don't know. He got some kind of loophole. He was
Honestly, though, like, Vase.
Face.
Yes, they're nothing but tools.
How is that the first time we've used that? Why is that the thing we use on?
I mean, look, we like at this point, it has to be tastefully done. You know.
That's true.
All right.
Can't overuse the bit. Jesus.
This episode's awful. This is a terrible episode. This is a
That
terrible topic.
that
Well, I
implies-
had other topics I want to talk about, but
That implies that there's been a good episode.
What are you got? Bruh, we've had so many great episodes.
or Into the Spider-Verse review was amazing.
Well, no. No, that was the awful one. Okay, for example, you know what a really good episode was?
Did you develop Alzheimer's early? What happened?
No. I thought of one now.
Oh, I thought he was doing a bit.
Oh,
I think he's
see.
doing a
Oh, I
bit.
see. I get it.
Is he doing a
I'm
bit?
doing a bit.
Liam,
Okay.
continue your story so we can stop
Okay.
this stupid
I
piss.
forgot my story because this guy did
You
a bit.
forgot?
Good.
Oh my
You
god.
built
Good
it
job,
up a second
Grandpa
ago.
Joe.
Oh my gosh. So everybody in this room, when are we hoping to get married?
I mean,
5 days, you're all invited.
5 days.
when the time is right, I guess.
you're gonna have
but,
to. You're gonna have to get.
I will say
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely don't want to be. I definitely don't want to be like mid-30s. You know, like I definitely
Yeah.
don't. I don't know about that.
I do want to say mid-30 guys
Mm-hmm.
have a huge amount of success in
Mm.
the relationship market, especially with like younger women.
Mid-30s, it is.
Yeah. No, I mean
All right.
that is one thing to look forward to. If you are just not having any luck, just keep on.
We got 7
waiting.
more years, gents.
Just become middle-aged.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Liam, you got a little longer. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the guys can get kind of as old as they want.
Yeah.
That is the one benefit of being
Robert
a
De
dude.
Niro just had his kid.
Yeah, that is the
Wow,
one
well,
benefit.
yeah, and Al Pacino had a kid too. How old is he?
Yeah, like 182. So
He looks like
he's
it.
just shooting dust, and that still worked. I mean, I don't know.
There's two
just-
sperm in
it's
there.
just-
Just
it's
trying
just-
to make their way through.
That is the
It's
one.
just-
that, oh my gosh.
Are you finished?
No,
Maybe.
that is the one benefit of being a guy, though, is that you can have a kid at any point. I would rather not have a kid at 45 or 50. I would like to have a kid earlier so I can get them out of the house by the time I'm in my 50s.
Imagine learning to walk
Oh
the
my
same time your
gosh.
toddler's
I'll
learning
be
to
like
walk.
70. I'm like,
Oh
come
my
here.
god.
You both just
I'm a
buying
grandfather
diapers.
and a dad. Oh
Sorry,
my
Liam.
gosh. No, but honestly, while that is a benefit, and while I have probably less to worry about than most women would have to worry about, I would still prefer to get married before I'm 30.
yeah.
I don't want to be, because again, like I share this with Michael. I don't want to be like 35 and getting married. I feel like that's too late. I want to definitely get married at latest like 29.
I agree.
Now, so, man, we were talking about our perspective, but like I do want to now talk about the actual like the hose. All right, so let's talk
Oh.
about.
Bye, Charles.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about like unrealistic expectations on both sides, actually. Just to be fair,
absolutely.
right? Because women and men, of course, right? Like we a lot of just expectations that are just fucking bullshit. Like a woman wants, a traditional man, but that also shares their liberal values, right? They want them to treat them like a queen, but also, but I respect the fact that, I'm a strong, independent woman who I don't want to, be tied down per se. I just want to, focus on my career. It's like, you can't have it all.
Yeah, you can't
Lower
have,
your
you can't have that
expectations.
dichotomy. So
Yeah.
ultimately, you're gonna have to pick and choose. Do you want a traditional relationship? Do you want a traditional man? If so, you're gonna have to be a traditional woman. There's no working around that because personally, I don't think you and I would want to be taking on that traditional role if our wives are not willing to take on theirs.
Oh, yeah, no,
absolutely not.
No.
I wouldn't put up with it.
Now, and of course, the other their expectations are, well, I want a guy who is super, ripped. I want him to be like 6'3" or taller. I want him to have a 6-figure job. Want him to, be a traditional man. Like,
6
Yeah.
Where's
foot,
the
6
unicorn?
figures, 6 inches.
The problem is like when it comes to those kinds of expectations, the women are very much allowed to have those kinds of expectations. But if you put that expectations on men, if men have expectations for what they want their woman to be, immediately you're labeled as
Here's-
sexist.
I don't.
And yeah,
I,
that's my issue really, is that they have all like this like big criteria, right? But the moment that like, well, you know, I prefer, like, let's say I prefer a shorter woman. It's like, oh, that's how could I?
Right.
How could I have a preference over some, you know, how tall a woman is? Or I prefer, you know, first to have my future wife to not have big massive melons that will just fucking, you know, take up the entire room.
Yeah.
God forbid I have that request.
And it's not a bad thing for. I'm not saying in any way that it's bad for women to have expectations, but I'm saying like you are all allowed to like both are allowed to have their certain preferences and expectations for what they want in a relationship.
but you have to be willing to play your part with that as well. You
There's
can't-
going to be a compromise, and the people who say like you gotta love me for who you are gonna have to compromise as well. You are gonna have to compromise who you are.
And the thing is, I don't blame women for having high expectations. I mean, ultimately, if they want to get with a guy and if they want to have children as well at some point, they have to bear this guy's children. So I completely understand where the expectations are coming from. However, again, ultimately, there's some kind of compromise you're going to have. If you're unwilling to compromise, you can't have those expectations.
And those same people that have those expectations, stop shopping in bars for good men or good women.
Oh my
No,
God.
good men and good women don't go to bars. They go to bars for hookups.
Fast
and as a
women
personal
are-
aside, please stop putting. If you're a woman and you see me at a bar, please stop putting your hand up my shirt. I'm just saying.
Oh, look at Jacob bragging.
I'm just saying it's happened far too
I-
many times among
I-
people.
Okay.
Oh, I
You know
go
what?
to a
All
bar,
right, at that-
women just touch my chest. It's just,
You know what? Hey,
oh, I can't even
Fuck
deal
you,
with it
fuck
right
you,
now.
Jacob. I'm gonna go play D&D now.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the problem with that. I don't even like if I had abs, it'd be one thing. I have a beer belly. It's a different thing. Bye, Michael.
Again, it was like, oh, I just can't. Oh man, women are just so attracted to me. And honestly, like,
not
y'all
even the
just gotta
case.
keep your hands off. You can't have all this.
It's not even the case. I'm
Like,
pretty sure the last one that did
Oh
that
my
tripped and
God.
fell and just like shh, like what's
Oh
happening?
yeah, sure.
Your hands are
Jacob.
cold.
Oh my. Did we come to a natural conclusion of this episode?
Did we? We came to a natural conclusion like an hour ago, and we're still doing it.
I think we said what we need to say, but to finish it off, ultimately, like what is your main priority when you're looking for someone to be with? What is your main priority?
My God. I mean, I've kind of developed not really a formal list of things I look for, but I don't know. I mean, goals and ambition, same thing.
He has a constitution written out.
That's I have a contract. Yeah, it's just sign here. I don't know. I mean, communication is a really, really, really big one. You know, the ability to see from someone else's perspective is probably the biggest. It encompasses everything, in my opinion, and a lot of people are lacking in it. You know, if you can't understand where the other person is coming from and have that dialogue, then you're not getting anywhere.
I'm back.
Jacob,
It's going to be the religious beliefs. You're going to have to be Christian, and we're going to have to fundamentally agree on very certain religious elements. And because, again, like I'm dating with the understanding that I'm going to marry you in the future, or I want to be married to someone in the future. And if those core differences do not align, if we're not able to grow in Christ, if we're not able to grow as a couple together, then that's going to be off limits. And again, I've compromised on that kind of stuff in the past, and it's never worked out.
Michael.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, why'd I come back? Well, I guess for me, one of the big factors is I want to be with someone who, of course, has the expectation of marriage in the future, but also the expectation of, you know, having children. Because, you know, I there was one person before where I really thought, you know, I could see a future with her, but then she was very adamant about, well, I don't want children, you know, I don't want the hassle, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's just, for me, that's a big thing. Because I do want children, maybe not 10, but, you know, 3, maybe 4. And it's really back, I guess, I hate to be generic, but what you guys were also saying, you know, someone where, an effective communicator, right? Someone who's also willing to listen as well. God, I sound like a woman now. But yeah, basically she is your partner, right? She is, like willing to be with you through all the, the best of times, but also the worst of times. Willing to be by your side when you are at your lowest, when you feel that, the world is beating you down, right? But she's there to help pick up the pieces, right? But you're also there to help pick up the pieces when she's at her lowest. So, and, she's willing to let you help in that regard. Because, I know there are plenty of independent, single women who are like, well, I don't need help, But, yeah, it's just a partnership, where I have her back and she has my back. That's really it.
Say ultimately for me, it comes down to
Being a vegan.
Listen, that doesn't have to be a must. But
Vegetarian is
Don't
also
smoke his
okay.
grass
Hold
when
on.
he's trying to eat it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. When it comes down to it, ultimately has to come down to shared values, which is a very important factor. And I want someone in particular. This is kind of a very specific thing, but I just want someone who has a general sense of love, not just for me, but for everyone around her as well. I want someone that genuinely loves her parents, genuinely loves her friends, and genuinely loves the community around
And
her.
her side guy.
And
Please, no daddy issues.
oh my gosh, someone that can be a good friend, someone that ultimately is kind of cute, not a bitch. And that is the end
Not a bitch.
of this episode. Y'all have a lovely night.
This ended more abruptly than my last relationship.
Good night.
Yeah, later. Good night. Good night. Why am I fat? Anyways, I will be reading you a poem. One that comes from the deepest parts of my soul. Let's get this over with. Oh, shit. The rows of hoes that have caused my woes, shall they reap what they sow? Heaven only knows. I love to tap, but now I have to clap. I now focus on my abs, because my ex has given me craps. She was full of crap. 'Twas a trap. I had to let her go, because, quite simply, she was a filthy little hoe. And now, she ain't my hoe no more.
Wow.